There is embezzlement and there's drug trafficking.
Why did that happen in a society where public figures are held to such high moral standards?
Who isn't a hypocrite, huh?
Mr. President, what about saving the Amazon?
What was your experience as an athlete transition?
What happens if everyone chooses not to vaccinate their kid?
Do you think any of that's changed since Me Too?
Do you think hip-hop can be stopped in Russia?
The embassy was moved from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. What do you say to that?
I say let's start Cordkillers!
Welcome to Cordkillers, the show about watching the stuff you love when you want, where you want, however you want. I'm Tom Merritt, and please make yourself at home. All the political content was in our pre-roll.
Yeah, no, but most importantly, how great would it be if whatever city councilman they were investigating at that moment responded with, I say, let's start Cordkillers! And they're like, what does that even mean?
That wasn't Brian. That was part of the Vice documentary, yes.
I'll tell you what, man, I don't know about you, but I am super, super pumped because we not only have a live studio audience, which is fantastic, but we are joined by Forbes Magazine's very own Merrill Barr. Thank you so much for joining us, Meryl.
What's up, guys? Look. I know you're wondering what's happening right now. It hasn't been going well in the TV criticism game, and I've actually had to change jobs. And so I'm now the official spokesman of Network Bullshit Swag.
Wait, hold on. What do you got? This sounds like the setup to a show and tell bit on Conan O'Brien.
So I've got a Pennyworth licensed pin.
Dear.
I'm part of the Resistance. I've got the Hot Zone embroidered custom Lieutenant Colonel Bar.
You are wearing swag.
Lab tech with gloves that are
Your gloves are branded?
Hot for this. Gloves.
I am so happy to hear that your whole gimmick was branded stuff because I was trying to figure out what character I was unfamiliar with that you were dressed up as.
I've got the Heroes versus Aliens DC Universe crossover tee. I've got the 911 branded earthquake kit with complete with emergency water.
That's a legitimate earthquake kit.
Yes.
If we were to come up with If we were to come up with a name for your character for Halloween, you're dressed
Swagman.
as Chili McSwagman.
Brian, you might be familiar with this. The emergency rations that obviously taste like pound cake.
Heck yeah.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, no.
This is playing great for the audio listeners, by the way.
Gordon Ramsay Uncharted official cookbook.
Ooh.
The Prodigal Son branded Bloody Mary mix.
Right.
Oh,
okay.
Delicious. Yeah.
And olives, complete with olives.
Oh, they think of everything.
And salt.
All right. So this is our special report. Is Hollywood weird as hell? Answer. I believe
yes.
The defense rests. The prosecution rests.
Meryl, take all that stuff off. We're only supported by the patrons, so it'll be more comfortable for you anyway.
I didn't even get to the ferrous iron rods that were in my pocket.
The one time I ever did a press junket, I went out to go see a Q&A for Blade Runner. What was it? 2069? I forget what it was.
2049.
Then they sent me a Johnny Walker 2049 thing.
Oh, I was once sent for what's that show? Wynonna Earp. I was once sent 3 airport bottles of No. 7 whiskey. Like they sent,
Tom's now looking at what
I've always
hats he's
wondered
been
when, because I've been doing this for 10 years, right? So I've always wondered, do they know how old the people are that they're sending stuff to, or did one day someone under the age of 21 just get whiskey and was like, all right, cool.
Thanks, everybody.
I guess it's gotta work in the long term. Hey, we should do a show.
We should just go right into the primary target because Meryl's got more to say about Apple TV Plus. Actually, we are, Brian, how are you feeling? We are but days away from the actual launch of Apple TV Plus.
Tom,
you can go from saying it's gonna to saying it is something.
Listen, Tom, if I was the kind of person who had spent 8 to 10 years claiming that something was gonna be great and I wasn't 100% confident that it was gonna be great, I would say that a mixed batch of middling reviews from people who have seen the content might really undercut a 10-year argument that I haven't decided yet if it was sarcastic or not.
All right. Spoiler alert, folks. Hold your horses. We got a few pieces of business to talk about first. Apple launched its Apple TV app on the Fire TV Stick 4K, the Fire TV Stick 2nd Gen, and the Fire TV Basic Edition. If you're like, wait, what about my more expensive Fire TVs? Well, they will be coming to more Fire TV models as well. It lets you view your Apple TV and movie purchases and your subscribe channels, as well as your Apple TV Plus content, and when that launches on November 1st. But it doesn't let you purchase things from within the app. Roku on the Apple TV app, you can purchase things from within the app. So subtle difference there. Morgan Stanley analyst Katie Huberty released a note Wednesday projecting Apple's service revenue to grow by 20% next year. Huberty believes Apple TV Plus will grow into a $9 billion business by 2025. But as Brian mentioned, the reviews are out for C, The Morning Show, Dickinson, For All Mankind. The NDA has lifted for people who have seen those in advance, or at least an episode of them. And Meryl, you were one of those people. Am I correct?
Yeah. So I have seen the 3 episodes of they gave multiple episodes of a lot of things, but I had a chance to see 3 episodes of The Morning Show, an episode of Dickinson, an episode For All Mankind, an episode for C, and I even did see 4 episodes of Servant, but I'm still under embargo for that.
So as Brian alluded, the reviews out there across Variety, Hollywood Reporter, et cetera, are mixed for everything but For All Mankind. For All Mankind seems to be getting generally positive reviews. The Morning Show, C, and Dickinson, especially The Morning Show and C, decidedly mixed. The Variety said The Morning Show just wasn't worth watching, basically.
That was Feinberg,
C
right?
Was just took way too long to get going. Where do you fall? Let's start whichever one of these you want.
All right, so I'll start with The Morning Show because I actually have a real review going up for that on Friday. My take on the take on all of these. Wow, they're expensive. Like all of the money that could have been spent was spent for these shows.
You can see the money in the show.
You can see the money,
right.
except on The Morning Show. And this is actually like my biggest sticking point with The Morning Show. They are lifting The Morning Show up as this is the title. This is the thing. This is the thing with the stars that you love. Like, this is it. You come for The Morning Show, and then everything else is a bonus. It's their House of Cards. Except the thing costs $15 million per episode to produce. Most of that was above the line cost for its cast. And it's just fine.
Meryl, I'm sorry. With those level of expenses, it sounds to me like your take is they wanted it to be their House of Cards, but instead they've built a House of Cards. Come on. That was good. That was so on the nose. Come on. Oh, killing me.
The audience is booing you right now. The problem is that like if it was a $5 million show with unknowns or relative unknowns in relation to television, like, and they could have elevated the material because they would have been real hungry to make the show great, it probably could have been awesome. But with this cast who kind of is used to this level of high budget content, they just feel like, yeah, it's another job, and they're doing fine. They're doing just fine. But there's not. It's newsroom. It's newsroom in 2019. Like it's playing toward all the Sorkin bits, like hardcore. As for the rest of them, For All Mankind, very good. I saw 1 episode of that. It was definitely the best of the bunch that I saw, which should make you happy, Brian. C was the weirdest one. It was kind of like The Revenant, the show, but with blind people. It's really shot like The Revenant. It's really
same amount of bears.
Yeah. Oh, no bears.
Okay.
But lots of Jason Momoa was born to play dudes that get a band of weird soldiers excited by grunting really loud. Sure. That's like his typecast. Dickinson was the oddball of the bunch, I would say, in that because I misunderstood what they said when they said they were doing a modern take on Dickinson. I thought that meant they were doing a present day version of Dickinson. Emily Dickinson's story, when in fact what they actually did was it's a period piece, but a period piece where everyone talks like it's 2019. It's got a modern soundtrack, and so it's like you understand everything that's happening as if it was happening in 2019, but it's happening in the 1800s.
By the way, there was a time that used to really drive me nuts. I remember when A Knight's Tale came out. I thought the conceit of modern day music in a medieval setting was ridiculous. But now increasingly I understand if what you want to do is speak an emotional language, you have to have a shared common vocabulary, right? And that means certain music means different things. If you want that feeling of badassness, nowadays it's going to be a lot closer to a hip hop beat than a swelling of orchestral strings.
Right. And then Servant, the only thing I'd say about Servant, because I'm still under embargo on it, is it should have been a launch title. It would have been better grouped in the launch title to give another layer of variety to the grouping. However, I understand that maybe Apple just didn't want to throw a horror show on the day after Halloween, which is when the service is launching. So I kind of get why they decided to push it back. Overall, here's what I will say in the positive. Overall, these are 4 very different, dynamic shows. None of them are IPs. They're all originals. And so Apple threw money at originals, which is something I think we've all been begging for years at this point because we're sick of the IPs. So on that front, I give Apple credit. They're really trying new stuff, and they really feel confident in the stuff. They're not hiding it, right? They're not. It's not like Disney Plus Disney is hiding the Mandalorian from everyone. It's really annoying. But like Apple's like throwing it all out there, and they're like, hope it works. We'll see. Some of them are worth.
Is that they've put a Herculean effort and a Herculean amount of money into these titles. So if somebody said it's going to be great but didn't specify whether they meant quality or the investment into them, they would technically be right for 10 years.
A great amount of money.
Right?
Yes.
It's going to be a great investment that they'll make.
It's going to be a great show of how expensive TV can be.
Well, this is a very difficult thing to pull off. Remember, when Netflix went into originals, they started with a partnership with a network in Finland. Or was it Norway? I believe it was Norway.
It was Norway. You're thinking Lillehammer, right?
Yeah. They started with a partnership with a network in Norway. Then they went with an original that was entirely done out of house by a production company. And they focused everything on making sure that one was good. Apple is trying to launch a network slate. Now, granted, it's not like a full 7-day slate, but they're trying to launch as many shows as HBO would bring in a new season turnover at once. And HBO is unusual in having most of its new shows be lauded, but even HBO doesn't have all of its shows lauded. So it would shock me if Apple had hits with all 4 of them. But I think that's what people think Apple needs to do.
My big takeaway here is that they're trying. They're legitimately trying. They want their content to be good. We're beyond all of the behind-the-scenes shenanigans at this point. A lot of these shows have had showrunner turnover. Morning Show famously had a big showrunner turnover, and creative differences. But I can't. It's worth checking out. The shows are worth checking out. Here's how I would describe it. A lot of the reports were that Apple TV was trying to be NBC, big expensive NBC. That's what everyone thought. Everyone was. It's a lot. The rumors saying that a lot of the crew was calling it expensive NBC. I don't think it's expensive NBC. Some of the content is very not network television. But it's also not HBO. It's not Netflix. Where I think I would put it right now is if I had to say expensive X, it's expensive FX right now is what it feels like.
Okay. I was going to go Showtime.
I thought FX was expensive FX.
It's now, even more expensive FX.
It is now.
Just to clarify, in the world of positioning, you want to kind of define what you're not, right? We'll start with HBO. It's not TV, it's HBO, by which they mean top quality programming that does the things that you absolutely cannot get on broadcast television. Great, that becomes the paradigm. Then FX becomes what if FX or sorry, what if HBO was on basic cable and we softened down the language just enough so that you still got top quality programming in that. And then you get Netflix is, okay, what if we're not HBO, but instead we're astonishingly specific to your increasingly unique genres. We're going to fill in all of those gaps all the way around. And that's where I'm really confused about where Apple is heading. They're showing up, and I think they're casting about trying to figure out what their voice is.
I think right now well, I think you're not wrong in that the idea of what is their voice, but all of these shows feel like they do belong together on the same network, despite how different they are, and they all carry their own unique qualities. They all feel like, yeah, of course, this one network made these 4 shows that all feel like they're part of the same brand, even though one's a comedy, one's a modern set, contemporary drama, one's a period piece, one's a really period piece. But it's they're all good. Some I wish were better. Some I don't think have an excuse to be only good. Morning show. But overall, look, the service costs $5 a month. For $5 a month, these shows are worth checking out.
I mean,
and especially if you get a free trial.
I was about to say, depending on how you squint, isn't this the one that essentially, if you're the type of person who upgrades your Apple device every year, it's essentially free?
Yeah, you get this free with the purchase of new iPad, iPhone, or Apple TV devices for a year.
To a lot of people, if man, it really does look different when the price point is $0.
Well, and I think that's where $9 billion comes from, which is this will get people like that to watch and start spreading the word about the things they love, causing enough people to go, well, for $5, like Meryl was just saying, maybe I'll also jump in on my Roku TV and watch it. And eventually somebody doesn't upgrade their iPhone and is like, oh, crap, I got to start paying. Well, that's cool. I'm really enjoying these shows. Like they are doing it right as far as gathering the audience. It does seem like that.
And they are rolling these out week after week, or are they're doing everything at once? Okay.
Yeah, they're doing it weekly. Here's my prediction. The second Apple stumbles into, because every network stumbles into one eventually. The second Apple stumbles into a hit, right? Whatever form that takes, however long it takes. Once that happens, the price is suddenly going to be announced. We're going to $7. Like that's going to happen.
I'll take that bet. I don't think they will, because I think they know they need to aggregate the audience, and I think they feel like they can get enough of an audience to make this pay for these shows.
And I'm going to back Tom's play on this one, just because to do otherwise would be to harvest exactly as the crop is growing. The only thing dumber than that would be to harvest before there's even a crop. I'm looking in your way, Quibi. But I don't know. We'll see.
That'll be interesting to see. Like, and we'll of course have to all agree when a hit is a hit. But you may be right. I'm not saying it's an outlandish prediction. What would be an outlandish prediction is that Cordkillers would change to issuing all of their shows at once rather than week to week.
Man, that I'm so glad you brought this
future,
up,
Brian.
Tom, it's our most exciting initiative yet. The next year. Why wait for week after week news with Cordkillers? You can get all of it all at once by going to Cordkillers Prime. Yes, for one simple fee of $20,000, you could get a subscription with the whole news for the next 365 days when it comes to cord killing. But it's in beta right now. If you want to get on the beta list, just in the short term, you're going to have to go to patreon.com/cordkillers, sign up, become one of our beautiful bosses. Just $1 an episode. That's all we ask. That's nothing compared to the $20,000 a minute that we're going to charge you later. But $1 per episode, it's like buying us it's like buying us a crappy cup of coffee every time we do a show.
Yeah, we don't even care that it's instant, right? That's fine. We're willing to take it if you'll give it to us, and then we'll keep doing the show. Patreon.com/Cordkillers.
And if you sign up, you get yourself a free bottle of Prodigal Son and sponsored margarita. Bloody Mary mix. See, I can't even do the copyright.
Offer may be limited. All right, let's talk about how to watch. AT&T pledged to make no major acquisitions through 2022 because investors are really mad that it's not making the money off of its new acquisitions that it should have been. Instead, it expects to sell $5 to $10 billion in non-strategic assets in order to pay down debt. AT&T CEO Randall Stephenson told analysts Monday, though, there are no sacred cows when asked whether the company would consider selling all or part of DirecTV. And DirecTV just lost 1.16 million subscribers. AT&T TV Now, the former DirecTV Now, lost 195,000 subscribers for a total of the over-the-top service at now $1.1 million and falling. Warner Media, its revenue fell 4.4% for the quarter, in large part due to a weaker theatrical slate compared to Warner's films last year. AT&T COO John Stankey told Reuters that the upcoming HBO Max streaming service, upon which all of their media hopes are pinned, will be free to the 10 million AT&T customers who already subscribe to HBO, including DirecTV and wireless customers. So if you're already paying for HBO, you're a DirecTV or an AT&T wireless customer, you'll get HBO Max for free. A source told Reuters that Warner Media expects HBO Max to reach 80 million subscribers, 50 million in the US, by 2025. And those sources say Warner will launch a lower-cost, ad-supported version of the service in 2021, followed by the addition of live programming. AT&T wants to use HBO Max to retain wireless subscribers and add to the valuable data it uses to sell advertising. Now, we're going to know a lot more about the price and the conditions of all of this because Warner Media is expected to announce all of that at an event they have planned for October 29th, which is tomorrow as we're recording this show. But right now, based on what we've got going on here, Brian, HBO Max, how do you feel?
This might be the single most AT&T story that we've ever covered in the history of anything we've ever done. Hello, shareholders, it's us, AT&T. We hereby pledge to not buy more stuff and expand because we want to make you money. Also, how do we make you money? By offering our service for free, except for when it's ad-supported and not free. Also, what is AT&T doing? What the hell is all of this?
It's business by Madlibs.
It might as well be. This is okay. Here's what happened. Here's my theory. Michael Scott was trying to fix a cable router and got struck by lightning and became the physical embodiment of AT&T and started making all of their decisions. And all of a sudden, AT&T decided everything based on who was asking them at that moment. Shareholders are upset. You're like, oh, don't worry about it. We're never going to expand. We're never going to do anything. Oh, you're going to make. Then people say we're skeptical of your service. You're like, that's why it's going to be free. It's me, Michael's AT&T. I am not. I'm not
Michael
optimistic.
Scat. It's SCATT. Yeah.
Just coming up with whatever he has on the fly.
This is all speculation. By the way, on the price front, I should say something I have heard is that HBO Max's price will always be $1 more than HBO.
Yeah,
HBO is $1.
We've heard that too. Yeah.
So let me get that out of the way. Let me take you back. So it's 2019. So 2 years, I believe. Let me take you back 2 years. Disney announces they're buying Fox, right? And there's a lot of like, oh, I don't know. A lot, people like, is that a good idea? Is that a monopoly? People like, actually pretty, give Disney a slate it needs to lift up its content. The AT&T Warner Media merger did not get met with the same good, sense of like curiosity to good vibes. It got met with, oh man, another telecommunications company buying another. I can't do this anymore. Like everyone was really, I think what it really feels, we're seeing now the effects of like, look, the results of the Disney merger are coming true now. Whatever was going to happen is happening or has happened, and everyone is mostly on board with it. Ultimately Disney Plus and Hulu are now getting an influx of a lot of great content that people really like, and everyone's kind of happy that merger happened. If you're outside the industry, if you're inside the industry, you hate it. And rightfully so, because it is a monopoly problem. But in this front of the AT&T Time Warner stuff, you're just like two businesses that I don't like, that are doing things that are problematic on both their respective sides, save for a handful of shining lights like HBO as a whole. But no one's really happy with the DC slate. There hasn't been a Harry Potter on forever. So what is really Warner Brothers bringing to the table right now? And who likes AT&T on principle? So it really just feels like them, spinning their wheels. Like, I don't know, man. Like, how do we make you happy? I don't know. Can we make you happy?
For those who are interested, I just finished reading a book by Simon Sinek, the guy who wrote Start With Why. His new book is called The Infinite Game, and he talks about businesses that play an infinite game, a game that they know they will never achieve the end of, but they have a defined target that they're going to head to their entire lifespan of the business. Apple is playing an infinite game to empower independent creators to be able to tell their stories, whether it's through a computer, a watch, a phone, whatever. Microsoft is playing a finite game where their goal is to continuously beat Apple on this quarter, that quarter, the other quarter, whatever. They're constantly responding to it. Likewise, Walmart used to play an infinite game, and then CEOs changed and they started playing a finite game and they started doing poorly. This looks like a typical example of that. Disney is playing an infinite game of we're going to be a holistic system that has something for every member of the family, and whatever their internal messaging is, it's very clear that they're marching to the beat of their own drum, and it's very clear that AT&T Time Warner is playing a finite game, trying to outflank by making every promise that they can in the short term. And there will be short-term moments that they get ahead or whatever, but nobody is going to love this service the way they're going to love. Netflix was playing an infinite game compared to Blockbuster. Blockbuster was playing a finite game, like, well, we're ahead of Netflix this week, that week, the other week, and then all of a sudden, oh wait, we're dead. It seems like we're seeing the same thing play out.
I think the most troubling part of this story is that sources say that AT&T wants to use HBO Max to retain wireless subscribers. That is the problem right there. That is what everyone worried about when AT&T bought Warner Media. Was this is a telco that won't understand the value of a media company and how to prioritize its goals. And if that is where AT&T is operating from, then some of this does start to make sense. Oh, we're going to give the service away free to customers because we know it's going to be a weird price sell to say HBO's $15 and HBO Max is $16, but we want to retain wireless subscribers. So what do? We give it away free. Well, Warner Media won't like it if we give it away free to all of them, and that's probably too much of the balance sheet. But if they're already paying for HBO, what if we do it to those people to reward them? And this starts to make some backwards sense here. But it's also definitely not the way you create a quality television offering. And it definitely is going to, probably not necessarily for brand confusion reasons mostly, but it's going to water down the HBO brand, partly because of that, Brian, but also partly because of what you're saying, where they're after the wrong things. And they're going to give up on hits before they have a time to become hits. They're going to make all kinds of mistakes if this is the way they're going to operate this. Launching an ad-supported version of the service that's not free is just a mistake. That's absolutely a mistake right now. Totally agreed. All of this strikes me as insanity. It also strikes me as very AT&T. So
this is, to add to this, this is the new age of Hollywood. This is where we're at. The tech taking over, and I'm here at Boots on the Ground. The thing I'm seeing is these companies do not know how to run these media companies across the board. And what's happening is a lot of people are just not working. A lot of creatives are not working. And it's because these businesses are like, we got a problem, throw money at it. They're just buying. They used to be you bought a show because you liked someone's take or you had the IP and you wanted to push it forward. And so you were like, okay, but we're not going to give you. Let's set up a mini room. Let's develop a little bit. Now it's the new mode of operations is we're going to buy your show and then we're going to give you the writer's room. And then we're probably still not going to make the show, as would happen to like King Killer. King Killer did their whole room, and then it's just suddenly didn't exist anymore. And we'll see if it finds another network. But this is the mode of operations now. Is these tech companies making shows buying content just so the other guy can't have it, but then having no offering when it comes to like what does the audience want. We got nothing for you. Sorry.
Yeah, I think this is why you saw it was Plepler that left HBO, right? After sort of clashing with AT&T over how HBO was going to be run. So I think that wasn't a great sign when that happened. And I haven't seen anything to disabuse me of the notion that wasn't a great sign since. None of this stuff definitely makes me feel that way. And this could be great. This could be a great synergy. Saying we have a network to deliver content and we want to not be dumb pipes. So the way to do that is to start providing the content over the network, and we can provide that content to the people who use our network preferentially in a way to make them great subscribers. None of that's wrong on paper. It's all about how you go about it and how you prioritize it. And it's putting the cart before the horse to say HBO Max will drive wireless subscribers. That's just the wrong way to go about it.
Agreed.
All right, let's talk about what to watch in Under Surveillance.
Not like real estate. It's all about location. Under surveillance.
Tickets for Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker went on sale Monday shortly after we got done with Cordkillers, along with the release of the final trailer. Adam Tickets reported it was the most first-hour tickets ever for the service and the second most first-day tickets ever for the service behind Avengers Endgame. Fandango reported it was the fastest-selling of the three most recent Star Wars saga films, 7, 8, and 9, in its opening hours. What did we think of the trailer? What did you guys
Meryl, you
think?
take it away. This is another one that I just
Okay. Number one, C-3PO is dying. Like that's I'm sorry, but you have that scene where he's like, "What are you doing, 3PO?" "I just was taking one last look at my friends," and he's got wires coming out of his skull, and R2-D2's losing his shit. That dude's dead. That's number one. I'm sorry. Okay, but really, as far as the Adam Tickets thing, which is the thing everyone was really pulling from for the reasoning why it was the top selling service. I was talking to someone at Adam Tickets before the tickets went on sale. And what they told me was they were beefing up they were the only place that was beefing up their server farms to deal with the influx because they knew they wanted to learn from their mistakes from Endgame, the Endgame tickets. They didn't want to have the press release be the demand was so high our servers crashed. They're like, how about the servers just not crash? So everyone else crashed in some variation during the AMC went down, Fandango was hard to access, the wait list went forever. Adam Tickets had their servers up and running, so people were able to log in, boop, get tickets. So what probably really happened was the Adam Tickets numbers got inflated because Adam Tickets became the only game in town for a few minutes at a time during the initial opening sale. Now, all that said, here's my personal take. The Force Awakens did something like 936 million domestic. Last Jedi did less. But my feeling is The Last Jedi did less. You could have debates all day about the quality of the movie, and I don't care about any of that. Really, what it comes down to is The Last Jedi was not an event the way Force Awakens was an event. Force Awakens was the first time we're seeing this IP in theaters in like 15 years, and it's the first time we're seeing the older characters in 30 years. So it was a big deal to show up for that, and then it made $936 domestic again. But to be fair, also it was a pretty weak winter in 2015. There wasn't a lot coming out. Last Jedi was just another story, but this is another event. This is the end. It's the end of the Skywalker saga, and I think that's going to be a difference maker. I know people want to throw Endgame in my face as to why maybe it's not going to do those big in numbers, but I argue that Endgame was Star Wars is a uniquely American franchise. It doesn't translate as hotly overseas the way it operates here, whereas Marvel has always been a global IP. So of course it would do better overseas than it does here. So I think there's real potential of the movie doing really well here. Go ahead. I hear the snickering.
No, it's just funny. Like I know what you're saying, and it makes perfect sense, and it's absolutely logical. But I was laughing because it's like I think that Star Wars movie is going to do really well. It's just a matter of degree.
I know.
Right? Yeah, of course it is.
Do you think that this last movie, in so many ways, The Force Awakens was really sort of a, hey, remember Star Wars movie. You know, objectively, you can track all of the major events of A New Hope and major plot points through the original trilogy. Do you think that this will be a similar thing in that it's like, oh, did you only see the original trilogy? Well, watch this, and it'll kind of be just like the end of Return of the Jedi.
I don't think it's going to be that. I don't think it's going to be as one-to-one as Force Awakens was. I think Force Awakens had to be a little one-to-one because it had to be like, hey, remember that Star Wars used to be fun and we all liked it? Because
right.
I know now we don't.
There was
feel that
definitely
way,
a press release element to Episode 1. So you think that'll be less so. I don't know, man. I feel like I don't know. I feel like it'll be a press release for, oh, man, wouldn't it be great if Star Wars movies looked like this going forward?
I think that it's going to be a real sort of – it's going to – I actually think there will be a finiteness to it. I think it's going to be painted as this is the end. This is the way Endgame was. This is the end of the Marvel Cinematic Universe as you knew it. This is the end of Star Wars as you knew it. This is it. Because also there isn't a Star Wars movie on the horizon after this one right now, right? There's something slated to come out next year, or in the next 2 years, correct?
Yeah, I think it's all going to be about the Mandalorian.
No films have got a date. They've got like rough years, but no actual dates. You're right.
Right, and I think that's going to ultimately work to its advantage. I think that the fact that when people start realizing, oh, there's no Star Wars for a while after this, well, I got to go to this one. Like, yeah, I think that's going to make it.
And forgive me, second grade Brian, for the heresy I'm about to say out loud. Good riddance. Let's wrap this one up. Let's move on. Let's get to somewhere more interesting.
You know what I've come to realize about myself? I'm not a Star Wars fan. Like, I like it the same way I like Trek. Like, and there's parts of it I like, there's parts of it I don't. But I don't like. I will lose my shit for any MCU film that comes out. I don't care. Like, I'm going to see it. It doesn't matter how the other one made me, how the last one made me feel. I'm going to this one. Star Wars, I still haven't seen Solo. Like, and
Solo,
I never
surprise hot take. Solo is my favorite of all the new movies. Possibly my favorite since Empire.
I've heard that from a lot of people who are like from your generation. Like, I remember
it's the closest to the extended universe books that I've ever experienced, and I liked it a lot.
I was sitting down with Cargill actually, like last year, and he told me like, yeah, I loved Solo. Solo was like awesome. It's like, that's what I want from a Star Wars movie. I'm like, I really got to check out Solo at some point.
All right, folks, Netflix released a trailer for its CGI series Ghost in the Shell SAC 2045. The series will be made by Ghost in the Shell's standalone complexes Kenji Kamiyama and Appleseed's Shinji Aramaki. Netflix announced it will use 3D CG animation. A little bit of a controversy about that. It emulates hand-drawn anime. The series coming to Netflix sometime in 2020. We don't have a full date on that.
Yeah, it ends up looking a little bit like the cinematics from, I don't know, almost a video game. Picture video game cinematics.
But also, it doesn't look like it's attempting to be the cell shaded that all the other full 3D animes are being right now.
Yeah.
Like Netflix just put out a bunch of trailers for their anime, and almost all of them are this 3D cell shaded look, and I don't like that look at all. Where here, this is yeah, like you're saying, Brian, it looks like a video game just with the rendering, the way the lighting is, and it's not trying to look exactly cell shaded, which I think makes it look good.
I have two things I can. I have no feelings on it being Ghost in the Shell, whatever. As for the animation style, there's two things I can think of that I can compare it to. Both are former Marvel cartoons. One was that, did you guys see the MTV Spider-Man after that first Raimi movie came out? Do you remember that one? Do you remember? Oh, it's a weird little thing. And Michael Clark Duncan voices Kingpin because they were pulling in from that Daredevil movie. And it's like, it looks like that. And that was like early days of this technology. And then after the first Iron Man came out, there was a I think it was Nickelodeon cartoon that was also done in that similar, like weirdly like video game animatic style. Just that style is like, I'm a fan of it.
All right, a few other things to mention. Freddie Prinze Jr. has signed on to the Punky Brewster reboot coming to Peacock. He'll play Punky's ex-husband Travis. He's a working musician described as being a great father with lingering chemistry with Punky. Apple TV Plus's production based on Isaac Asimov's Foundation series will star Jared Harris. You might know him from The Expanse or Mad Men or Chernobyl. He will play Harry Seldon, and Guardians villain and Pie Man Lee Pace will play the Emperor of the Galaxy, Brother Day. Showrunner David Goyer wrote Terminator Dark Fate and is working on The Sandmen for Netflix, and he's the showrunner of Foundation for Apple TV Plus. And HBO Max is bringing back Adventure Time, 4 one-hour specials. Adventure Time ended a year ago after 10 seasons. The first special, BMO, follows the show's robot. The second special focuses on Marceline and Princess Bubblegum. The third tells the story of Peppermint Butler as a wizard school student. And the last, called Together Again, reunites Finn and Jake.
Do you guys remember when Futurama did this? Almost this exact same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
Futurama went away, and then they came back with some movies, and then the series got rebooted.
All right, let's talk about things we've had our eyes on, something you've watched that you recently loved, starting with you, Meryl. What have you been looking at?
Netflix show, new Netflix show called Daybreak. I'm just going to quote my Forbes review for this and keep it simple. This is the headline. The teenage wasteland, Mad Max warriors, Malcolm in the Middle mashup you didn't know you needed in your life. And I'm going to quote one paragraph a minute. To put it bluntly, if someone took the concept of Mad Max, the silliness of the warriors, the irreverence of Malcolm in the Middle, and the heightened nature of a good old-fashioned teenage love story and ran it through a blender with the resulting smoothie being poured into a Netflix to-go cup, they would end up with Daybreak. Do I need to say more?
No, you don't. That's well put, man.
So I'm guessing you liked it.
Yeah.
Hey, I went and saw Parasite. One Tom Merritt told me to go see Parasite and not know anything about it, and I did it, Tom. It's hard to go see a thing and not know anything about it outside of the director, same director that did Snowpiercer and Okja. Spoiler alert, I generally liked it quite a bit, and we'll talk about it in Spoilerin time.
Excellent. I watched High Life, which is a space adventure about with Robert Pattinson in the lead role, directed by Claire Denis, a French director, about a ship full of people. Well, it's not full of people at the beginning because it's just a guy and his daughter, but you find out it used to be full of people and the daughter's a baby, and so you find out how the baby got there. Interesting concept, very well directed and shot, good acting, but I was kind of bored. So there you go. I don't know if you're going to like High Life or not, but you can get it on Prime Video. What do you want on the lookout for, Bryce?
Hey, this week we got an email from Scott who writes, "Hi guys, the past couple of months Pluto TV has been adding more and more channels. One channel that they recently added was This Old House. Before Pluto TV had a dedicated channel for it, I was watching full shows and clips on their YouTube channel while working on home improvement projects. Now I watch This Old House on Pluto as an alternative to HGTV. Scott. Thank you, Scott. Yeah, Pluto, which is a free streaming content site, it keeps adding these show-specific channels, and Pluto is ad-supported, and you don't even need an account or to log into anything. So if you want to be like Scott and check out This Old House's channel, it's 365 on Pluto.tv, channel 365.
I'll tell you, man, I'm a big believer in the Pluto business model. I think that the one thing I wish they were doing is I wish they were digging deep into libraries of various studios and going, hey, you know that one season show that everyone loved but no one's heard from in like 10 years? Can we just grab that for a few months? And they just start like, I really think there's potential to really have fun with a lot of library content that's just been forgotten about with this
they've
model.
done a little bit of that, like with Degrassi, the Degrassi channel, but yeah, they could definitely, especially with Paramount's catalog, and especially after Paramount and CBS merge, right? They could really do some stuff. If you got something we should be on the lookout for, email us cordkillers@gmail.com. We now take you to Brian.
Hey, man, as you guys know, we're building up this Modern Rogue World headquarters, brand new Diamond Club Studios. We got 2 things that we're selling at scamstuff.com, and both of them are about to go away for different reasons. First of all, if you want to join the Founders Club, get your name on a Founders plaque. There will only be one group of founders, people who are there to help us push over the completion of Phase 1. Your name can be immortalized forever here on this property. I can't say forever, but for a very long time. And then it's going to go away. We're going to cap it. I think we're down to like in the dozens of slots left, and that's it. And then the other is we have a new puzzle box If you're looking for a gift to give a fan, we call it the Black Diamond. It is an exquisite black lacquered puzzle box. It's certainly our most visually impressive one that we've done. Bad news, the guy who's making these, turns out that they require a lot more precision than he expected between the lacquer, between the precision of the box and the complicated nature of it. He requested that we limit this run, and then if we want to go forward, we have to increase the price. So we've agreed, what is it? It's 3 days till Halloween right now. We're going to keep our launch price for 3 more days, and then it's going to go up by quite a bit.
Ooh, you better hurry up. Get in there, folks. Let's move on to the front lines.
Front lines.
The Information reports that Sony began talks with banks several months ago to explore the sale of PlayStation Vue. Service reportedly has a subscriber base around 500,000 households, and any potential deal would be valued in the tens of millions of dollars. Despite raising prices 3 times since launching in 2015, PS Vue remains unprofitable for Sony. I think it was always meant to be a loss leader, but it doesn't seem to be selling a lot of PlayStation 5s. There's rumors out there that Fubo might be interested in buying it. There's also rumors that not all the content deals for all the channels would transfer in a sale, which I think would be a deal killer if I was interested in buying this.
What's there to buy, though? I mean, I guess that's really my question. Is like, why would my question for any buyer would be, you're
buying the existing deals in the install base, and if you subvert either of those, then that reduces the value of whatever it is you're selling.
Yeah, you're buying the customers. Yeah, exactly.
Android Police notes that some Netflix users on Android have seen an option on the video playback menu to adjust the speed of video to 0.5, 0.75, so slower, or 1.25 or 1.5, so faster. Do we want this? Because Judd Apatow definitely does not want you to have it. As somebody who sat through this latest episode of Mr. Robot, I would love it.
I'm with you there, man. I mean, this is like, hey, let's take the concept of double speed on podcasts and apply it to TV shows. Because that's how I like double speed on podcasts because I'm listening in the car and I might be behind a few episodes on podcasts. I don't want to who double speeds their TV? Why would you do that?
Keep in mind, though, there are times, for example, where I don't want to experience the artistic vision with the highest fidelity possible. What I do want is parody to know, so I could talk to my friends and know all the things that happened. I like having the control to objectively give away the quality of the experience, knowing that the trade-off is I will have more of that content that I could discuss with my friends on the same level.
There were we actually asked people on Daily Tech News Show Friday when this news broke if they wanted either speed up or slow down of Netflix to tell us why. And there were some great answers, including some medical answers. People are like, I actually can't pay attention physically unless I have things going faster. So I end up listening to podcasts because I can speed them up. I would definitely watch more Netflix shows if I could speed them up. Slowing down for instructional videos. So you know, there's some instructional stuff on Netflix. Being able to look at that, Allison Sheridan suggested that. So there are some interesting reasons out there that I wouldn't have thought of first. Yeah. More of those on today's Daily Tech News Show. Okay. NBC Universal CEO Steve Burke told analysts during an earnings call Thursday that he believes the Peacock streaming service will, quote, get to cruising altitude much more quickly than a subscription service. Peacock will be free with ads and featured on Comcast and Sky Cable TV platforms front and center. He also mentioned NBC will, quote, keep selling on to other companies, meaning NBC Universal Productions will continue to appear on other services like Netflix and HBO Max. Peacock set to launch in April.
And Verizon will give 12 months of Disney Plus service to new and existing customers for free when Disney Plus launches on November 12th. The offer applies to unlimited mobile wireless, 5G home, and Fios customers. It also became clear this week that some Disney Plus titles may appear from the service for short periods due to pre-existing licensing deals with other outlets.
Disappear.
Disappear. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's the opposite. I said the opposite.
Definitely appear. Yeah. NVIDIA launched 2 new Shield TV boxes running Android TV. Both run on faster Tegra X1 Plus processors with Ethernet, microSD, and support for Dolby Vision HDR. NVIDIA now upscales HD to look closer to 4K. The new Pro version of the Shield TV has twice the storage at 16 gigabytes and 3 gigabytes of RAM versus 2. The Pro also comes with 2 USB 3.0 ports and support for Plex Media Server. The Shield TV Pro cost you $200 and the Shield TV regular sells for $150.
And finally, the entire Cordkillers staff's heads explodes as it's announced that Quibi announced that it has sold out its $150 million in advertising revenue for its first year. Quibi launches in April. Quibi said it booked $100 million in upfront commitments from 6 advertisers: Procter & Gamble, PepsiCo, AB InBev, Walmart, Progressive, and Google. It also has launched partnerships with Discover, General Mills, T-Mobile, and Taco Bell. If Quibi fails to deliver on audience guarantees made to upfront advertisers, it will provide make goods. So I don't think this news item necessarily makes anything any of us have said wrong. We've always agreed that Hollywood agrees that this is a great idea. And I also believe that advertisers who listen to Hollywood will believe Hollywood when they say this is a good idea. I think our position has always been that the human public has given us no indication that this will be a good idea.
The only thing I want to stress from that article is people might jump on the, Quibi's making guarantees that, like, if it comes in less, they'll give the money back. That is standard operating procedure. Yeah. Every network that works on an estimate, and they go, they have to tell the advertiser, we believe we'll deliver this. And if they don't, they have to give the money back. That's why shows get canceled, because the network's actively giving money back to the advertisers when a show underperforms. Now, also, do you guys hold the Quibi stories for until I get here? Like,
no. There's just 1 or 5 every day of the week. We don't even do all the Quibi stories. It's ridiculous, right? This definitely gives Quibi runway to make mistakes. Yeah. That's what this means. They've got the confidence, the advertisers who are like, what, Katzenberg's behind it? Great. I'll take that risk. Throw some money that way. So those are the kinds of things that can help a bad idea overcome itself and become a good idea. I'm not saying that's what will happen, but it's got more chances to fail than maybe some others, like Vessel. All right, let's get to the dispatches from the front. Our first emailer says, hey, Tom and Brian, my wife and I chose to go to a local movie theater to see El Camino Studio Movie Grill, a small chain with dine-in and comfy seats. Very nice. We booked our tickets a week ahead of time thinking that it wouldn't be busy, and we barely got seats for the day and a time that we could go. It wasn't a giant theater, but also not at capacity. But besides the lower front rows, there were few open seats.
Man, that makes me happy because you got the experience that I was hoping to get. Meanwhile, Alan writes us saying, like Tom, I wonder if the new AMC service will join Movies Anywhere. I think it's interesting that AMC struck deals with Lionsgate and Paramount since these two studios do not participate in Movies Anywhere. Separately, I wonder if the reduction in average movie ticket price is due in part to the theaters creating clubs and other discount programs.
That's a good call, Alan, on the average movie ticket price. Meryl, does that make sense?
Yeah. I got nothing else to add to that, but yes.
Yeah. So, Alan, good job. Yeah, I think you cracked the case. Merrill Barr, thank you so much for joining us, my friend.
Thank you for having me on, Jim. I saw one person in the chat ask if this bag was an emergency escape kit. It is, in fact, an emergency escape kit.
Nailed it.
After our last 2 earthquakes, I built 2 go bags, just one for I'm still filling that one. But yes, thank you guys. It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me on. Wordtetris.com for my podcast, writing podcast, all good. Twitter.com/Merrill Barr, MERRILLBARR is where you'll find all of my, when I put up reviews, you'll see my morning show review on there. But yeah, again, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, double consonants is what all the cool people do. MERRITT. I'm just saying.
I'm the same way. It's BBBRRIA N5XJ. It's great.
That's absolutely correct. Don't forget it, folks. Our website is CRRCordkillers.com. Our email address is cordkillers@gmail.com. We're live on twitch.tv/Night Attack. Also carried on diamondclub.tv Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. We'll kill your cords again next time.
Hey guys, Brian and Tom here, and it's just the same old message at the end of the credits, just like always.
That's right, Brian. Nothing new here except your name showing up.
Oh my gosh, I've got a name.
You just supported us on Patreon.
Yeah, all those $5 donors. Look at that. That's your name in pixels. We're gonna make you famous, kid. Put your name in pixels on the internet.
There's some classic names in there. But some of you are new. Some of you aren't there. It's sad. What can they do, Brian?
I mean, they could go to patreon.com/Cordkillers and pledge $5 an episode and be one of these amazing people, like this one. Oh, look at that name right there.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.